it! Congratulations! World's best cup of coffee. Great job, everybody.
Ladies and gents, welcome back to Spencer's Triathlon Coaching Channel. As you can see, a little bit more festive in this video, and we'll talk about what to do and how to plan and attack and make it manageable over the Christmas period, whether your Christmas period is 1 week, week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Talk a little bit about how to address your training, what to do in order not to lose the gains that you've achieved leading up to this time frame. Diet-wise, we're exposed to a lot of excessive calories at this given time of year. How do we manage and control this so we don't, again, undo all the hard work? You might have been on a bit of a weight loss journey, whether you've been looking to shift a couple of kilograms in order to get some free speed within your endurance training, whether it be cycling, running, triathlon. And how do we manage this? We'll delve in with this. If you're watching this and you've already got a endurance coach helping you out, you would have had this conversation already, no doubt. I've asked all my people about a week, 2 weeks ago, what's your Christmas calendar looking like? Throw me some days that you can actually do some activity and it's not going to get in the way of family life and that whole balance. Things are actually achievable and you can keep ticking over if that's what the objective is. And I think that's a key point here. What is the objective? Is it going to be a deload week for you, or an easy 2 weeks where you're going to tick over? Do you have any long-standing niggles that you kind of need to address, that you need to calm down and settle down and then kick on after the Christmas period? You may be a runner or a duathlete where you actually might need to kick on. I've got a race in about 2 weeks' time. I'm doing a bit of speed training at the minute, so I'm not kicking back. I'm actually pushing on until the end of this, well, the next few days. No point me giving you days because you don't know when you're going to watch this, but the next few days I'll be having my kind of taper week leading into this 10K run. So again, it all depends on your objectives. But again, hopefully you've had that conversation with your coach if you've got one. Now, if you don't have a coach, have a look at your calendar. What can you actually do on any given day? Whether it's a paper calendar, whether it's digital on your phone, it's dead easy these days. I use Google Calendar and you can see exactly what's coming up. With my wife, my partner, we've got a shared calendar. I make sure that we're not kind of double booking things. I'm 99% all right with that. I do get caught up sometimes. But again, have a look at the calendars. What can you do and when without any given interruptions, or even worse, upsetting kind of the family life balance? Now, most of you are probably triathletes watching this. The pools might be shut for a given amount of time. That might mean swimming naturally takes a bit of a back seat and you might have a more of a bike focus or run focus, or a little bit of both with those two disciplines. But ultimately for me, it comes down to two things during the Christmas period. You're kicking on because you've got time to do it and you've not got too much commitments, or you're going to chill out a bit. You're going to tick over. You're going to do some low intensity stuff at a low volume. Again, you're not pissing anyone off. Leading on to the nutrition part of things and the diet and the food and drink. Like I said before, we are exposed to uber amounts of calories that you really don't need. And it's making these mindful, conscious decisions. And for me, there's lots of food that, again, get presented to you. And one that I can really leave out is those mince pies. And not that I'm a avid calorie counter and I look at the back of packets every 2 minutes, but I did the other day with a mince pie, and there are 220 calories for a tiny little mince pie. And I rate them at 1 out of 10. I really can just leave them. Not that I dislike them, but again, 220 calories. I'd much rather have a pint of beer with a friend, catching up and chewing the fat. It's picking your fights with nutrition. Now, I'm not saying you can't eat any naughtiness. I am saying you can, but within reason. Pick your fights appropriately. Be mindful of it. For me, my kryptonite can be, it was just 2 days ago, we were at Sherwood Pines Duathlon and there was a load of celebrations out. I had about half a dozen without thinking about it. I was absolutely knackered. I was just chomping them down. And after that, I was like, right, that's it. That's my day in terms of the treats there. Where you can really sabotage yourself is that it continues. You do the same an hour later and 2 hours after that, and it might be a different treat altogether. So just be mindful of what you're selecting and ramming down your throat. And on a social occasion point of view, I would recommend that you go for 2 meaningful ones, meaning you actually let your hair down if you've got any. Christmas Day, I'm sorry, you're going to have to let your hair down. You can't be a miserable bastard on Christmas Day. And the second one, you choose. What I would really choose is with friends, people that you definitely know you're going to have a blast with, and you can enjoy 3, 4, 5 drinks and not think twice about it. What I wouldn't do is have that 6 pints or 6 gin and tonics with your neighbour Susie or Dave 3 doors down that you speak to a couple of times a year. It's just wasted. Save the fun times for your friends is what I'm trying to say. So 2 occasions in total, 1 Christmas Day and 1 other. And with that, I'm not saying just socialise twice. Go out there and socialise more. But in terms of having a little bit of excess, you're not going to do much damage with 2 visits. And there's other social occasions. You might be the designated driver. You might be drinking the non-alcoholic stuff, whatever it might be. But again, just choose your battles wisely. And briefly going back to the exercise side of things, you've got your specific training that you've been prescribed by a coach or you prescribe yourself it. In addition to that, do some group activity with friends and family and have those social occasions as well. That might come in the form of walking. It's not just a planned activity, which is we class as exercise. It can be the external stuff. Going for that 30-minute stroll with your family and the dog, or you've gone for a 3-hour jaunt. You can plan effectively and again have a word with your partner and get some family time that way, and you can build up an appetite and you can burn excess calories and then reap it back in. And ultimately, over the Christmas period, being an athlete, an amateur athlete probably, which is fine, we all are, try and keep those scales the same. You don't want them going up. We want to keep them roughly the same. And with that as well, more salt might come on board, more stored glycogen, carbohydrate might come on board, and with that, more water comes on board. So don't automatically assume that your scale weight, if that goes up, that it's body fat. There's other elements at play there. So don't just automatically assume it's body fat. It's probably water weight. And the last thing that I'll finish with is this. Be flexible in your approach with the exercise over Christmas, and also be flexible over Christmas with your diet. Have a bit of leeway, have a bit of the fun times, but you got to rein it in at some point. If you don't want to gain weight, you're going to have to be very mindful. There's going to be peer pressure from every corners of the room. Why aren't you drinking? Why do you have this mince pie? Why do you have that? Stick to your guns. Just say no. But getting back to the exercise, be flexible. If you've planned a bike ride or a run on a Tuesday and you just need to swap it on the Thursday or Wednesday, do so. What's the worst that could happen? I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll speak again soon.